Yo, 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 welcome everybody to TCR Trinity Competitive Racing. We are here for the Golden Class tonight for round number 8 of the Hungarian Grand Prix. And as always, and of course, we are in Season 12. And I have a very special guest commentator in the COCOM and the TCR booth tonight. Our Season 11 Platinum Class champion, making a return for some commentary and potentially race tomorrow. That's going to be a Tasmanian Devil. How are you?
I'm doing pretty well. You know, it's really good to be back. It's been a while since I've not only commentated but raced in general. So really interested to see what these Golden Class boys can put on for us today, and yeah, just looking forward to getting back into it.
Absolutely. I mean, you haven't made an appearance yet in Season 12, but it seems like you've been keeping tabs here and there on the competition. What do you get a sense of that? What's your reaction to what Season 12 has given and provided so far?
Well, in Silver and Golden, it's looked pretty competitive all throughout the field. In Platinum Class, it's a little bit of a different story with Assassin pretty much dominating the championship so far. It's been really impressive to see. So, yeah, tonight in Golden, it's pretty much up in the air with, I think, Bats and... actually, I don't think he's racing tonight, is he?
Well, yeah, Silent. It would have been Silent, and maybe Just Jose. Silent is on holiday, and Just Jose serving a back of the grid, so it's going to be Bats having a clear opportunity, but go ahead.
Oh, okay, so it's looking like an open goal for Bats today. I was hoping to see a battle between them, those two today, but I guess that won't be the case. But either way, Hungary tends to put up some pretty unpredictable races with tangible conditions, and it being a very technical track that takes no prisoners, so I'm looking forward to it. Awesome.
And I was commentating with Bats Plus last night in the Silver class, as he is currently on provisional pole. We kind of put some theories together as to why you potentially might be racing tomorrow, and you'd let me know if it's true or not. Assassin has won the last 5 races in a row in the Platinum class, and you currently hold the record. I believe it's for 6, so are you going to show up tomorrow and deny him 6 in a row?
Well, that is the plan. I don't know how well it will work out, considering it's been a while since I've played the game consistently, but you know, Hungary is one of my better tracks, so I'll be sure to give him a proper fight.
And Bats also said, I don't know if you heard, but he's starting to throw some shade around. He thinks you are washed, and you don't have it anymore. So he thinks you're old news. That was last season and this season's Assassin. What do you say to your haters out there?
Well, I guess the answer to that question, or whether as to not I'm washed or not, you'll find out tomorrow.
Leaves your talking on the track. I like it. Well, that's Tasmanian Devil who'll be commentating tonight alongside myself, Seafreeze, and we'll both be taking you all through tonight's proceedings. So thank you all for watching on either Twitch or the YouTube. We are live on both. Just wanted to mention we have information down below for the website if you would like to join Season 12. We're round number 8 of 15, so right a little past halfway. And also, if you are new, give us a like, comment, follow, subscribe if you enjoy any part of tonight's race. And if you do, feel free to come back tomorrow for the Platinum class. Same place, same time tomorrow. Next week, we go to Singapore. And I'll do a little recap from last week. It was the British Grand Prix, where it came down to the wire between Bats Plus and Silent. Silent got the opportunity to get the win, and Bats Plus in second. So Bats has been doing pretty well with the first and second as of late. He's on provisional pole at the moment. So Silent, like I mentioned just a few moments ago, Silent is on a holiday, and he is not on the grid today. And Just Jose received a back of the grid penalty for accumulation of penalty points or some sort. I don't know if he got into, I think, an opening lap trouble from last week. So he'll be starting P14 at a very difficult track to overtake. Taz, if it stays wet, or if it goes dry, where's the best opportunity to pass? And what's the strategy like for Just Jose starting from the back, knowing he's got the speed difference? How does he get through the field today?
Well, assuming it is a dry race, which we are unsure about just yet, the best opportunity to overtake would definitely be turn 1. He has DRS, and he is really quick, so he should be able to get close enough to the cars in front to overtake you there. But if turn 1 doesn't work out, he can also have a chance to fight back through turn 2 and the run to turn 4. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see how he tackles this, considering he has a lot of people to get past.
Yeah, we'll see how he does today. I've always liked the rain qualifying sessions because I always said you just put some fuel in and put some tires. You might do 1 or 2 pit stops, but other than that, you're just trying to get laps on the board. Is that a similar strategy you would be suggesting to the Golden drivers? It seems like few are still trying to get to grips with the traction, and we also had that patch today, which or update, whatever you want to call it. I don't know if that is going to have any effect on the drivers today.
Yeah, definitely. When it's raining, you want to always make sure that you're out on track, because the track conditions can change in an instant. So it's not uncommon for the track to become a lot quicker right at the very end. So making sure you're in it when the track is at its best, to try and put in a lap is always very important. But what was the second part of that question?
Well, the new patch today, I don't know if that's going to affect the drivers. If the handling has changed at all, or I don't know what the consensus is.
I haven't driven around this track in over 2 months, so I can't really say if it's a whole lot different, or where it's a whole lot different compared to what it was pre-patch. But it may have an effect on the driver's setups, so those who may not have been able to change their setups going into this race may struggle in some areas where the car handling has changed a little bit, but I think it's going to be more or less the same for everyone, since we're all so new to it.
That's what I've been hearing about as well. It's been very similar to what the cars have been driving. We get a chance to see the new Honda livery on the Red Bull, as Dreamsy just destroys the livery. He's right into the wall. He's got all 4 wheels. Is he going the right way? Yeah. For a second, I didn't know if he was facing the wrong way or the right way. It was in a weird part of the track. Now, here's the question. I don't know if you know, where anyone who's gotten on the game knows. How long is this livery in the game, and then can you use the alternate Red Bull livery? Like, you could choose?
Yeah, so I'm not too sure about how long the livery is going to be in the game, but I do know it is for a limited time. As for being able to swap between the two, I think it's just going to be the special one for now. So if I were to guess, it'd probably only be for a week or 2. So yeah, if you have time to hop on the game, I'd definitely, hop in the Red Bull and just have some fun with the livery.
Alright, we got a few comments coming here on the YouTube. Not Just Jose. So I don't know if that is Just Jose or that really is not Just Jose. Or maybe he's a supporter. I think we've gone through this before at one stage or another, but I'm not too sure. He says it's a full wet race. Now, if that is Just Jose, that's a reliable source. But if it's actually not Just Jose, then I don't know what that means. If it's a full wet race, we're in for a long one.
Yeah.
But if he's just trolling, I hope so. Blynn's in here. Good luck. I know you have a karting race tonight, Blynn. Good luck. Good luck. Pradis, yes, Just Jose does have a back of the grid.
Well, not only that, with the race being wet, it could be a double-edged sword with no longer being able to use DRS. It might be a lot harder to overtake, but at the same time, people might end up making more mistakes in front of them, so we can capitalize on that. So it'll be interesting to see how that pans out for him with the entire race being wet, according to him. Assuming that is just the actual Just Jose. So yeah,
that's always got me on the commentary booth. Seems like it's actually drying up a little bit. I actually saw someone put the softs on for a second, which I've actually raced in. I think it was a 5-lapper. I mean, this was almost when the game, it was Dreamsy trying to put the softs on. These conditions, it's like it's not raining, but it's like still wet out. but sometimes the soft tire is the fastest tire. Yeah, I think Bats might be switching, so a few drivers might be thinking about it, which I think is the right move. I think this track's going to dry up really quick because it stopped raining from what it looks like. It's still got 345, we've got DRS enabled, yeah. So I'd probably wait another minute or so and go out at the last possible chance, and then whoever sets the lap time last is going to have a really good opportunity. It's kind of interesting. You can see what tires the drivers are picking, even in the pit lane, from the commentary booth. Unless that's a glitch. You can see them going through the menus.
I think that might be a new feature. I'm not too sure, but as far as I'm aware, that was not a thing in the previous games or in the previous versions of this game. If that is really the case, then it's a really nice addition. That Plus is on its outlet right now.
Yes, on I think the soft tire, if I'm correct. You have Jones finishing a lap here on the inners. He might finish this one, or he might hop into the pit lane. He's probably up on the Delta because the track is drying.
If he finishes this lap, he won't have enough time to go out on the softs.
This might be pole provisional. No, close though. No, he wasn't. I thought he was going green, but he went 7/10 red. But maybe he's starting to feel like, yeah, maybe I should have came in that last lap, especially because he was. Oh, little spin, and he saved it though.
Yeah, I think the inters are starting to overheat very quickly now.
Yeah, let's go on board with Bats. He's already on provisional. He's coming around the final corner on the soft tires. And he has a great opportunity to increase his championship lead. He's got 92 over Silent, who's not here. He's at 80. And then the next guy back is Chargers with 75. Just Jose starting at the back of the grid with 70. And then with 56 is Fire Up Flow. And that's your top 5. So Bats Plus can improve his lead here. Obviously, there's a long way to go.
Lap's going really well, but the issue is timing. Has he gone out too early? There are a lot of drivers. Oh, as he has a bit of moment, he has to turn forward. But if he's gotten the timing wrong, there's a chance he could drop down all the way to maybe even outside the top 10. Because the track is going to improve rapidly. So if he gets the timing wrong, it could be very possible for him.
Yeah, well, I think, we got 3 guys out already. One can't set a lap, and Halberg in 12th's reserving from Silver. I think I saw a disconnection, which he had some disconnection issues last night. So hopefully, if you're watching Halberg, try to get back with that original invite if it's working tonight. So it seems like the top 9 are still here. If Bats put enough fuel in, he should get another run. It's a 21.5. Real clear, but like you said, depends where everyone else is. And to be honest, there's not many people out on track at the moment. We got Gottany Weeb, he's on the inters.
He really needs to get a move on if he wants to set the lap. 14 seconds left, and he's not even around the final corner yet.
Yeah, what's happening, Chargers? Come on.
He might have missed.
Oh wow! Oh wow! I mean, he really was waiting. he wanted the last lap possible. Like I'm last, guys. No one else behind me. He waited right down to the last second. Timed it perfectly too. That was good.
Yeah, exactly. And he's 7. No, that's one. Okay, so he's 2 seconds up in Sector 1, so improving massively right now.
Dreams he goes second on the mediums. I think we have Latope.
Suggest that it might be dry in the race. Because in these conditions, assuming the race is wet, it would make no sense to go out on the medium. Oh wow. That's massively there. 3 seconds from first lap on the softs to his second lap, which is pretty impressive.
Yeah, that was good that he put in a little bit extra fuel. I think we have a Ferrari and then Chargers, and this is it. So let's see what...
Chargers are on the final corner.
To the line. Fire Up goes second. Chargers is going to go...
P4.
4, yeah. It seemed like enough from that last lap. The drivers could still be a little bit tentative because it's still in that mixture point of the conditions, but yeah, you look at the gap, for a half second separates the top 4, and then everyone else behind just didn't. The timing strategy didn't really work out, but nonetheless, they still get an opportunity to start it out on in the race. I actually wanted to take this moment to actually release a pretty big announcement. Since I have a Tasmanian Devil here tonight, I thought I'd take an opportunity to have some meaning with it in the Golden class. For the All-Star race this later upcoming in about a month. Let's get the date right, Chris. It will be Thursday, November 4th, the week before the TCR Grand Prix. We are going to be heading to the newly added track of Portimao for the All-Star race, as we have to see some rain here at Hungary. So the All-Star race is going to be at Portimao in the 50% race, in the multiplayer cars and the personal liveries. I think there might be some damage enabled this season, as last year we heard a little bit from the drivers. And the qualifying will be determined through the poll from the drivers that do get in. And then how do you qualify for the All-Star race? The All-Star race is going to send 5 drivers from each class, from Silver, Gold, and Platinum, to the All-Star race. And out of those 5, you know, it will be the top 5 unless someone can't make it. The class coordinator will pick someone to represent the class. And then the remaining 5 seats are the wild card seats, which consist of any former champion or veteran of TCR. So will we possibly be seeing a few returning drivers, and if not, there's still a chance for drivers lower in the grid standings to still get into the All-Star race as a wild card option to help fill the grid, depending on, you know, how many drivers are available. So those are kind of the details. More for the drivers will be in the Discord, and for those watching, last season we had a great Bahrain short All-Star race for the first one, but obviously they took the Bahrain short out, so we had to replace it with a track, and we chose Portimao. So that's going to be November 4th on a Thursday for the All-Star race, and 1 week prior to the TCR Grand Prix at Brazil. So those are 2 big events here in TCR that you do not want to miss. And we might even be seeing maybe Tasmanian Devil or myself return in the All-Star race or the GP, possibly.
Yeah, I mean, you never know. With those wildcard slots, anybody could show up.
What do you think about Portimao? And what do you think about the All-Star race last season? And what do you think about us potentially going to Portimao later this season?
I think the All-Stars race last season was really great around Bahrain short. It's a really short track, so pit strategy was really important, making sure you came out in clean air. You had to use all 3 tire compounds, which mixed things up a lot. You had people on all 3 different tires at different stages of the race, and it made for really good racing. So yeah, it's maybe not going to be quite the same with Portimao, but it is a new track, and there is quite a lot of elevation change and tricky corners where people can spin or make mistakes. So I think regardless of where the race is being hosted, just the tire strategy and having people from multiple different classes and even wildcards makes up for really good racing. So if I can show up to that, that would be great. But if not, I mean, I'll definitely be watching.
For sure, yeah, it's gonna be different. You know, we had to find a way to get these tracks in relatively soon because they did add Portimao and they just added Imola, so I kept you hanging a little bit. You know, maybe we would have done Imola, but no, we decided with Portimao, and we'll see how that goes later on in the season. With the new track, there's really no expectations, not a lot of running time. And yeah, it's going to provide for a nice one. So I thought I'd get that in a little intermission. So more info on that to come. But the drivers are coming around for the end of the formation lap. As you can see, it is full wet. Everyone's on the wet tires. Bats Plus is going to lead charge with Fire Up on the front row. Really quick, Taz, who are your top three?
Well, Bats, he's on pole and he seems pretty quick from qualifying, so I've got to go with him for the win. I think Charges, he could be a threat as well. He's always been pretty strong. And let's go with Fire Flow for P3.
Very nice. Alright, so drivers are all lined up. This is round number 8 of the Golden Class for the Hungarian Grand Prix, of course, as always in Season 12 for TCR. And the lights are going on now. Freeze with the call. Riding on board Chargers. And away we go. You gotta go easy on the traction. Bats gets a good one. Latope Fire Up getting a little wheel spin that's gonna allow Chargers down the inside, making it 3 wide. Bats clear out ahead. You gotta watch we don't have what we had in the real F1, which is carnage at turn 1. A few wing clips, a little bit of contact. But other than that, a lot cleaner than what real life provided. Latope and Charger still going side by side. Dreamsy on the Ferrari in that new Red Bull livery. Charger still side by side with Latope. All the way down to turn 4, it's going to be the Mercedes taking charge. And also, who's this? Jones and Fire Up side by side. Very close. As we have a retirement, that's going to be... Who's that? TJ.
Yeah, where did that happen? On the exit of turn 4, looks like.
Ah, TJ, thanks for playing, but game's over. I think he made it to maybe turn 4, which is a tricky one. It is a tricky one. This is a VSC, so we'll see. Maybe it turns into a full course. I think it'll be okay though.
Yep. Looks like his car has already been cleared, so he should be back to racing soon, though. Just Jose, he's already up 5 positions, he's up in P9, so looks like he's really taking advantage of this very slippery track.
Still VSC, and Batch told me last night that the VSC will wait until the last car goes past the pit entry. Which I want to see if that's the consensus here as well, and yeah, I think he was right. Last people got into the pit lane, and looks like it might go green here in sector 1. Yep, there you go.
And that's Plus is miles ahead already.
A little train from Latope on back. Everyone within a second. Man, it really looks like it's pouring out there. What I've always wondered, and I don't know if I'm pulling this out too early in the race. We're only on lap 2. I've always wondered how much water gets dumped into the cockpit when it really is raining this much, because you're moving quite quick, so you might even think nothing's going to really come in. But the drivers must be soaked at the end of like a full race like this.
Honestly, I have no idea what the answer to that question is, but if I had to guess, I would probably think that they wouldn't get too wet, considering how fast they're moving. I don't know. That's not really my area of expertise.
Nah, I don't
of
think it's anyone's. I was just curious.
yeah.
Maybe someone does a
Well,
quick Google search. Get back to me in the comments. I was just curious
that
because
could just be
to be honest, I wouldn't want like a puddle on my lap while I'm racing. I would kind of want, that covered. Wouldn't want water, and the water gets by your feet. I don't know. Maybe how drivers get around that. I don't know.
Yeah, well, I mean, it is quite hot in the car, so I don't think it would, bother them too much. It's not like they're wet and cold, but wet and warm, so I don't know. If someone actually figures out the answer to that question,
we all got some homework to do. Yeah, someone will find it out. I mean, someone probably has a full website article on it already. Latope makes a mistake into the chicane. That's going to give the Ferrari an opportunity, but the Haas covers it off quite well. We've seen this a lot from Latope. He's done great in the opening stages of the race. He's showed some really nice speed, but then about a few laps in, he goes for a spin. So I really hope he can not do that today, because he's in a really nice position. Bats look like he has the setup and the skills out in front. And
yeah,
Charger's a little bit off.
We don't have a spin from him, because, I mean, there are a lot of cars pretty close behind, and that could cause a pretty bad pileup. So far, it's been smooth sailing for him, so yeah, hopefully he keeps it up. Yeah, at the moment it looks like Bats is really loving these wet conditions.
Ooh, maybe just Jose as well. He moved down to 11th. I don't know if he pitted. I think he might have pitted under the VSC for some, maybe a wing damage, possibly, a little wing change.
Yeah, it looked like he had front right end plate damage. Not sure when he got it, but yeah, that's really not been a great start to the race after making up so many positions off the start.
Yeah, I mean, he only lost maybe 2 positions, but he's a long way back time-wise, which is going to kind of put him off sequence. He'll probably need a true safety car.
Like Hallberger's had a spin on the exit of turn 5.
Ooh.
And it looks like he does have damage on the right side of the car. So he'll probably be pitting at the end of this lap.
And we stay green. Yeah, so the top 10 are looking good. Everyone behind is having a few little troubles. Charger sets a fastest lap 32.6. Just Jose has a purple middle sector.
I don't want to speak too soon, but the way these drivers are improving their lap times by this big a margin suggests that we might even have a switch to intermediates at some point in the race.
Well, I was just going to ask, as Just Jose does go purple, I was waiting for it. 31.9. It's quite quick. If it stays full wet the entire way, do you think Hungary, I think it's a demanding track for the tires. Do you think they can no pit stop it, even on the wets, all the way? Or do you think they'll need at least one, even if it does stay full wet?
I think they might be able to go to the end. Hungary is a really hard track on tires, or really hard. It's really hard on tires, but the wet tires are pretty durable as long as the track doesn't dry out too much. So if the conditions stay as they are, we might see all of these drivers going to the end.
Prattis did his homework, and let's see, I'm going to have to grade it in a minute. After Godney Weeb and Latope almost side by side through the penultimate corner. Was that a little bump and run NASCAR style from Ferrari?
Oh, he's got the move done.
Yeah, I think he kind of moved him out of the groove, and he's got the position. That's going to allow Dreamsy behind.
Pretty insane.
Yeah, we got a nice little train here which is always nice in a long race because you don't want the field to get too spread out, especially in these conditions. They're quite close to each other, right on the back, about a half a second off one another, which I think is a little too close at Hungary. There's a lot of twisty, turny S-section type corners. It's very technical at Hungary. I didn't think they'd be able to be that close, especially in turn 4. So you see a lot of them very close to the back of each other. Jones is right at the end of the train. Actually, I think you see Be Good back there as well. So it's from God Any all the way to Be Good.
Yeah, normally you'd expect the cars to be a bit more spread out, but I think in the wet conditions you can follow cars a bit more easily because you're going through the corners a lot slower, and that puts a lot less emphasis on downforce and more on mechanical grip. So yeah, I mean it's good to see though. Nose to tail, and anything can change at a moment's notice.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, slower entry speeds. Probably more downforce on the car. That's another thing we didn't really mention in qualifying. Some drivers might have opted for a full wet setup if they really knew. You know, most drivers check the weather, so that could have been the compromise.
Jones is lining up fire flow for a move as it goes down the inside and turn. Fire up flow with the switchback. See, did we get good traction? Nope, looks like Jones has got it. Very well executed overtake.
And this brings Be Good right up to the back of Fire Up, who seems to be losing a few positions.
Just Jose in the pits with another wing change. I was not expecting that.
Cool. Jones went a tad bit wide. And gets it under control for the chicane. Alright, let me see if I can get this commenting real quick. Prada says Google is the source, says there's the cars are so fast that the droplets never fall on the driver, rather the rain taking the path of front of the car to rear of the car. He said, hard to believe, but they're never wet. See, you know, I don't know if I buy that. You know why? Because when it rains, I run really quick from like the house to the car to not get wet, and I still get hit with droplets. So I'm just not buying it. You know, I think I ran pretty quick. I still get drenched. They have to have some spots on them at least.
I think there's one pretty big difference between you running from your car to the house and a driver being 200 miles per hour in that one car. And that's your whole body is exposed to the rain, whereas in an F1 car, I mean, if you look at an F1 driver in an F1 car from eye level, I mean, you can only see their head. You can't really see, their neck or their shoulders or anything below that. So, I mean, most of their body is covered up anyways, so it's not too surprising when you think about it.
I mean, you sure I don't run as quick as an F1 car? I mean, I have dreams that I'm a 5-time world champion in Formula 1. I mean, I've had a lot of race victories alongside Lewis Hamilton. You're telling me I don't run that quick?
I don't know. I don't even think Usain Bolt could get from his car to the house that quickly.
That is kind of cool, though, that they don't get wet. I always figure that because they're open cockpit. Now, I wonder if in another category, potentially. But, yeah, some good stuff. Thank you, Apprentice. That was some good stuff. So we're on lap 9 of the Golden Class Hungarian Grand Prix. 6 seconds out in front is Bats Plus. Nice, healthy lead over Chargers in second, who gained 2 positions off the start of the race. We have Got Any, he had a nice overtake on the Taupe. That's for third. Latope still hanging in there, about a second off. And there's a decent gap to Dreamsy and Fire Up, who's trying to go around the outside in turn 4 on Jones, but he loses a position to Be Good. And this is the main battle at the moment. This brings W as well in the Mercedes into this mix.
Yeah, it looks like it's probably going to be a four-way battle between these guys from start to finish. I mean, they're all really close on pace, and they're all trying to get past each other, so it might be nose to tail for the whole race, really.
Yeah, for the most part, Golden Class has a very similar pace for most of the drivers. I mean, I think we've had 5 different winners already in the season, so 5 of 8. I'm just gonna make sure that's right. Yeah, we had 5 different winners in 7 races. You know, we could get a new one here today as a Be Good looking on Jones for 6th. Runs out of room. Here's a question for you, Taz. In these conditions, I know you've raced in some full wet conditions before in TCR and Platinum last few seasons. How easy or hard is it to lose your concentration in these conditions? Because obviously it takes a lot out of you more than a dry race. How do you kind of stay focused? Because it seems like some of the gaps improve through the drivers, and some, they decrease and increase very dramatically at certain stages, maybe due to some mistakes or loss of concentration.
Personally, I don't think it's alarm. Sorry about that.
Dinner's ready.
But no, personally, I don't think it's any harder to remain focused than driving in the wet. It's just a lot easier to make mistakes. So there's that, and the conditions change a lot more from lap to lap than they do in the dry. So you'll see a lot of drivers trying different things on different laps, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't work. So a lot of the time, that's why you see the gap go up or go down by a pretty big margin.
Did you ever, do you enjoy when you see wet weather on the radar, or do you rather have it dry?
I think a lot of it really depends on the situation you're in. So if you're starting from pole, generally you want it to be dry because it makes everything much more straightforward. And there's a lower likelihood of safety cars and things of that nature. But if you're further down the pack and you maybe don't have the pace in the dry, then the wet more often than not will benefit you. So, yeah, because I remember, I think it was last season, season 11, I had a pretty poor qualifying. I was down in 8th, and the race was full wet, and that gave me the opportunity to take advantage of others' mistakes and make some positions. So I'm sure it'll be the same case for a lot of drivers further down the path again.
I said this to Bats last night. If you could turn your mic up a few ticks, that'd be good, because in the night my ears go really down, so I don't know if it's a you or a me problem. But a few clicks, I'd appreciate it.
Okay.
Yeah,
sure.
let me know in the comments if Taz's mic's alright. It might be fine. It just could be my headphones here, but
Okay, is it any better now?
yeah, there we go. Now, welcome.
I'll probably have the world's cheapest set of headphones, so that's not really too surprising. But
You said you have the world's what? World's what? What do we got?
cheapest set of headphones.
Cheapest set.
Yeah.
Well, it's probably the smartest option. Cheap is the way to go. Cheap is the way to go. But if you're looking for great quality products, I'd recommend Fanatec, and that's a shameless plug right there. It's Fire Up on Be Good. Now on down the front straight to turn 1. Be Good had a poor exit. That's going to give the Ferrari an opportunity. There he is on the side, still side by side. But Be Good has the preferred line out of the corner with the traction, and he'll be able to hold on for now.
Yeah, in the wet, when it comes to overtaking, traction is much more important than being able to outbrake the person you're trying to overtake. Just because there's so much more time you can gain getting on the power earlier than the person in front of you. So, yeah, I think just trying to take maybe a later apex and straighten out the exit would help a lot of drivers with having an opportunity to get past those in front of them.
Yeah, that's probably the hardest part is the traction. It's the most crucial part, though. With the wet, could be very difficult, and that's why I never really liked it. I feel like I'm better on the brakes than I am on the. I get too happy on the throttle, as Fire Up looked like a little too happy on the throttle as well. But once you get into a nice rhythm, I feel like by now you should get a good grip of the rhythm of the track, and all drivers should be able to adapt to these conditions by this point in the Grand Prix. Usually the first 5 laps are still tentative. You don't know what the limit is, but each lap you do, you gain more and more knowledge of what you can and can't do. And then that's why, sometimes you do get a mistake here and there, and then you kind of learn from that by the next lap, because I do think the majority of drivers do not practice the wet. They have some familiar instances through the wet, but it's not every day. These drivers are pulling around Hungary on a full wet weather. But I think now is the time they should definitely be a little bit more comfortable at this point on lap 14, and you might see more drivers prone to incidents and accidents at this stage. So we could see a few drivers. You saw the gap kind of open between these mid-pack drivers. They were all within a second, and now you see the gap starting to increase between them all.
Yeah, it seems like some of the drivers towards the front of the mid-pack have started to figure out just how to actually get the most out of their cars in these wet conditions, and that's probably the difference. Because early in the race they were all nose to tail, but now it's starting to spread out a little bit. Closest battle being between Be Good and Fire Up Flow. But looks like Be Good's starting to stretch his legs a little bit and pull away.
Be Good's, for those who don't know, he's been around for forever. He's been around for a long time, and to be honest, he's been in a lot of different cars here in TCR, but I just think the Aston Martin fits him very well in that Aston Martin. He's been doing a great job be good since coming back last season, I think it was. He's been a solid contender in Golden. Hasn't gotten a win yet, and I don't know if he's grabbed a podium, but he's been very close to the top 5 almost every race. He's only in 7th at the moment, so a few more positions. He'd be right where he normally is. Let's check the, well, those are the, from 10th on down, are the only drivers that have made a pit stop. Now, a pit stop's not mandatory today because of the rain, but you might see a few drivers pit later on in the race. To be honest, I think they might be able to stick it out, but let's look at the, if I can find it, holy moly, the biggest winners and losers. Where is it? I don't know where it is. Oh, there it is. Holy moly. Biggest winners so far is going to be Just Jose, only up 4. And the biggest loser, that's Fire Up Flow. He's down 6 positions. Started 2nd and on the front row of this race. And I think the setup just wasn't meant to be. We see some gaps closing up on Chargers. Gotten the Weeb is 7/10, as is Latope, and they're coming up on You Having a Giggle. He's a blue flag lapper car. As it seems Red Bull will get out of the way on the front stretch. Let's see how many cars he'll let by, though.
I don't know if my eyes are deceiving me, but it looks like Bats Plus is taking more traditional wet lines that you'd see in real life rather than just dry racing line ones. For the most part, it is quicker in the F1 games because they don't really simulate, you know, the track being rubbered in and the rubbered line being slippery and wet. It's kind of interesting to see, really.
I mean, any way you can do it and get time is really the. There's really no correct way as long as you're getting that time. As we've seen, Just Jose set how many purple laps, but he's still 10th. He's gone through a few wing changers, but he seems to have the speed. He's trying to get the lap times, because you do see some puddles on track, which I don't know if they have such a big effect. Certainly not to the extent of maybe real life or another sim, but I think you get a sense of what the conditions would kind of be like. But normally if you dip your tire into those big puddles, I mean, you're gonna get some really bad wheel spin and loss of traction. So we'll ride on board with Bats in a little bit of time as soon as we see if Got Any can overtake Chargers. So Tope kind of made a mistake. He fell back about 2.5 seconds.
At the moment, it just looks like Chargers is doing just enough to stay ahead of Got Any lead in Sector 3.
Yeah, Chargers he's been doing really good. He's had 4 consecutive podiums, but with no wins. He's had a 3rd at China, a 2nd at Monaco, and a 3rd place at Austria and Britain. So he's sitting, to keep that streak alive, would be 5 in a row. Sitting P2. So yeah, I kind of like Bats Plus's approach here tonight, because sometimes you feel like, oh, you know, if you have the lead or you're leading the race, you don't want to push it because you might make a mistake. But I find that Bats is actually improving the gap, and I think he should still continue to push, because, you know, you're gaining more seconds and seconds, so if you do make a mistake, you kind of have a gap to lean on. So I kind of like his approach of just keep going at it. And he's continuously improving the gap between first and second in the rest of the field. 15.5 seconds, almost 16. So that's a strong showing in pace.
Yeah, and it seems like he just has more natural pace than Chargers does around this track right now. So I'm not even sure if he's actually pushing flat out. I mean, he doesn't really need to keep expanding.
Oh, what happened? Where's back? Oh,
it says he dropped down to 10th.
Oh my God! I thought the game said let's do a commentator's curse right here. Let's scare Seafreeze and Taz and put Bats Plus down to 9th just for a split second. That was kind of rude. I said he had such a good gap, and then I thought he like disconnected or something real quick.
That would have been the worst case of commentator's curse if he were to crash out right after we were talking about the stuff that he was doing.
I mean, I've had some pretty bad ones, but to be honest, I don't mind. I'm not. It's not affecting me, right? Adds to our entertainment. Let's go on board with Bats Plus for a lap. You've been saying he's been doing some more wet lines. Let's check out his lines here today. He's got any chooses to pit, so he's possibly trying to do a one-stop splitting the race onto the wet tire. And yeah, I could see Bats Plus going a little wide in turns 2 to kind of.
I'm not really sure what the logic behind that choice is. Unless the tire wear is quite high, I could see that. But I mean, there's only 15 laps to go, and it's unlikely that they'll be able to close up that gap if the others stay out.
Could be just like a comfort thing, because maybe the alternate or the what we would think is the actual racing line in the dry, maybe the setup is a little, it's not really allowing Bats to drive the car to the actual racing line, so maybe that's why he's needing to like kind of create a different line through the conditions, possibly. It's my guess.
I don't know. Generally, there is a outline of the track that is grippier than the rest of the track. I mean, I'm not the one on the track, so who am I to judge?
I mean, yeah. Even on the straight, he's trying to pick up the rain, as you see a lot of the real-life drivers do. Although it's not drying up, so yeah, I mean, it's still pouring.
I'm not really sure if that even has any effect on the tire temperatures. Because I mean, the reason why the drivers do that in real life is to try and cool down the tires.
Oh,
yeah,
we have who we got? We got someone. Whoa, safety car. Oh, El Capitan. El Captain. Oh, why am I saying it? I saw the L and I had to put the accent.
Looks like he's taking the gamble on enters, but I think he spun immediately on the pit exit. So maybe it is a little too soon for that.
Yeah. It's almost like Sebastian Vettel trying to put dries on at Turkey when it was still kind of wet out. It just didn't work. He goes out, he says, yeah, it's not working. That's the funniest thing. Yeah, it's not working, guys. We tried, it's not working. That might be El Captain right now.
Yeah, and with Gottney Weeb, he pit not too long ago, and I mean, the very next lap, there's a safety car, so I mean, if those in front of him pit, I mean, they've basically gotten a free pit stop and they can just come out in front. So, yeah, I think he should have just stayed out like everyone else as Bats Plus pulled into the pits.
Yeah, now all that work Bats did throughout the 21 laps kind of went to waste. Although, I mean, he'll still be able to pit and he should have
and he's throwing on a set of
first. Really? Oh.
Let's see what Chargers does.
Is that a mistake? Chargers.
It's a set of wets for Chargers.
Puts the blues on.
Okay,
Leto.
Intermediates.
Oh.
See what Jones does.
Jones and who's this? The Alpine.
They got the lap car. He's thrown on inters.
Oh, do we know some? Do they know something we do not? Jones puts
Jones
the
is thrown
blues.
on the wets. Okay, so this is very interesting. A lot of drivers with a difference of opinion on what's the better tire.
We got green tires for the green car, and blue tires for the blue car. Oh, okay. So it seems like drivers might have a prediction that the rain's gonna slow down a little bit.
Could be, but I think with the way this is going, I think half the drivers are going to end up looking like Sebastian Vettel did in Turkey.
I mean, I'll tell you what, it's not ready yet. I mean, these drivers are going to lose positions unless it somehow. I mean, the field is quite spread at the moment. I mean, it's going to be another 2, maybe 3 more laps until we get this thing underway. So maybe by then the rain will come down a little less, and maybe the inners will be the more, viable option. But at the moment, it does seem like the wets. I just want to. Yeah, Pratt is saying the inters will fail, so that's kind of the consensus we're putting together as well. I just want to take the moment to appreciate and thank everyone for watching on either the YouTube or Twitch. We really do appreciate all the support. Keep the comments, likes, follows up. We do appreciate that. And if you are new here and enjoy any action here tonight in this race, which I'm sure you're getting a little bit from, feel free to come back tomorrow and give us a follow. And you could always unfollow at another point in time. It is free to do so, so we really do appreciate that. We have the website down below for those wanting to sign up for Season 12. We still have a lot of races left in the season, round 8 of 15. And for those looking for Fanatec products and would like to use our affiliation link down below, it is there. You'll find a link, and this way it'll help TCR continue to provide for all the viewers and drivers. And that is your commercial updates from Seafreeze.
Yeah, since the commercial update, a lot of drivers have changed their mind. Chargers came into the pits, swapped the enters. Jones swapped the enters. At first, there was only 4 drivers on the enters, but now it looks like there's, I think, 7.
I'm definitely seeing more green than blue.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And it looks like the rain is dying down a little bit. Bats Plus might have played this perfectly to a T.
Yeah.
He's very strategic like that. That's what makes a nice champion, and I think that's what kind of separates him from a few other drivers, is that kind of know-how, the strategy, putting it all together. He's got the speed, he's got the racecraft, but it's everything else that he needs and a driver needs to put a complete driver together. And I think Bats has really done a great job this season, and he continues to improve on that front because he was like the first driver. He's like everyone else was on the wets behind him, and he was brave enough and had the courage to come in and put the green, intermediate tires on, and it could have backfired real quick. But he played that perfectly, because it's gonna. Now I think you, Pratis, and I, all 3 of us are wrong, because I think the inters are now the way to go.
Yeah, one thing I really do think is a strong suit for Bats is that he's always really good at determining what tire to be on at the right time. I remember in a casual 50% race we did around Hungary, I think it started out on enters, and him and I were having a battle, and he pulled into the pits for soft tires, like way before everyone else. So I pit the very next lap, and I come out 3 seconds behind. I was leading the race, so looks like he's really good at judging when's the right time to change the tires. And I mean, he's shown it again today.
And I think what also benefits Bats is that he has a driver on the wets behind him. So that's kind of like a buffer to the field behind, and behind Fire Up, we have Got Any and Double, who are also on the wets if they choose to continue like this.
Yeah, I hate to say it, but I think those on the wets are going to get eaten alive pretty soon. They're all doing their own version of Sebastian Vettel.
Yeah, it's not working. But I tell you what, I think Bats, he formulated that to a T, and he is gonna have the go-ahead here as the safety car is pulling into the pits, and it's his decision to decide when to go. And I think he's starting to go right now. So it's back on green, gets a great jump over P2, and let's see the wet tires fall, as we already see Le Taupe and Got Any. Oh, so the Ferrari's making a move still on those wet tires. It might be still that crossover period.
Yeah, it might be more even than we thought. But then again, W is, I think he lost positions. Yeah, because he was P5. So I don't know.
Whoa, Jones and Be Good side by side through turn 3. Be Good got the position. This brought Just Jose back into the mix. He's in 9th on inters. First portion of the race was really just him doing some hot laps, and now he's got all that knowledge, and now he's right up to the back of the group, and it's opportunity to gain some more positions.
Yeah, I think at the moment the inters and the wets are equal right now. Possibly the wets are quicker, because everyone on the wets they have older tires than those on inters, yet they're lapping pretty similar.
Oh, we have another. Who's that? Is that a Giggle or Dream? Went for a spin.
Like you having a Giggle on this exit of turn 3.
Le Taupe getting past Got Any in the first corner. Inners are starting to come around. Be Good on double. Oh, Jones into the wall.
Oh wow, and his wind is completely gone.
You guys a little too happy on the throttle, especially on those intermediates. The track has to feel a lot better than how it did on the wets, but it's still very touch and go. Just Jose around the outside of the Mercedes. Oh man, you can see the traction, but Double's gonna have the inside for the chicane, side by side through it, and yeah, Just Jose gets it. Really nice. A little bit of contact, but I think that's what you suspect in these conditions and on the tires. So that's Just Jose up to 7th.
I remember last time we had a race in heavy rain conditions in Platinum class, we had quite a bit of contact on the last lap, battling for P2.
Oh, you and I, yeah, you're right. That was for the 100% race at Britain.
Yeah.
You know what? I almost had the win because you kind of threw it away, not gonna lie. But
Yeah.
I forgot. Oh, Stanley it was. Stanley won it. I was trying to overtake him the whole race, couldn't get past him, and if I did, I would have been right in prime position. But I'd take a podium. I'm sure you would have liked to take the win, but you know, those things happen.
Yeah. You know, silly strategy, Aaron, but you know, those things happen.
Oh, the Ferrari side by side, all the way up to turn 4. I can't. These are terrible camera angles. There we go. Ferrari, and a Mercedes. Charger's still looking to keep the consecutive podiums up. This would be his 5th in a row. He's got to do some work to get to 3rd. He's got 2 drivers ahead, which are the red ones on the wet tires. So it seems like it will be a good possibility for him to get that today. Still have plenty of time to do so.
I think Chargers might be making a move on fire up flow pretty soon. Taking a lot of different lines, trying to have a look up the inside. So fire up flow with a better traction out of the final corner means he gets to hold them off for one more lap.
I mean, at some point, the wet tires are just going to fall off an absolute cliff as Just Jose takes 6th over Be Good. And Dreamsy on double. Or double on Dreamsy. I think it was double on Dreamsy.
Yeah, I think it was.
Or maybe it was a little bit of some defense. And he's still on the wet tires.
Honestly, I have no idea how the guys on nearly 30 lap old wets are keeping up pace with guys on much fresher wets and fresh engines.
The Chargers missed the chicane, and he kind of kept position on Just Jose. I think Jose kind of said, "Hey, you cut it. I want it. Give me the position." But Chargers is not allowing it. I really would like to see the Codemasters games, or EA, whatever they're calling it now, to improve the transitioning period of the race between wet to, like, full wet to inners to dry, because I think they can get it a little bit more precise, kind of how real F1 is in real. Oh, we have Ferrari! Whoa! Oh, he's got to dodge him.
That is one crazy spin.
That was like halfway down the straight.
That was... I have never seen someone spin like that. I am shocked.
I'm scared for these two, because you got the other Ferrari on the wet still. 28 laps. Yeah, get by Chargers as soon as you can.
If anything, you'd expect it to happen to fire up flow rather than Donnie Weave.
Yeah. Yeah, 28 laps. Hasn't pitted, I don't think. Maybe once in the early on.
Into a point where the wets are starting to overheat, and yeah, they're no longer able to keep up with the guys on empties.
Yeah, I think maybe they should think about pitting here shortly, because they're by the end of lap 35 they're going to lose a ton of time, so it's probably worth pitting now and keeping something from this race, because Be Good's right behind Fire Up, and it's just a matter of time. They're going to keep losing positions.
Yeah, if they cut their losses now, they might still be able to finish in the points. Just one of them will. No, he stays out.
Wow, that's bold.
Be Good goes clean around the outside, showing how much quicker the engines are at this stage of the race.
I don't think got any damage. He just went for a nice spin and no damage.
Did Sebastian Vettel 2014 Hungary?
Yeah.
I still have no idea how he kept that out of the wall and didn't get hit by the cars behind him. That is just crazy.
I mean, I think he came real close to that wall. I think he might have even tapped it, if I remember correctly.
I don't know.
If anything, it was very close.
Either way, good on him and the other drivers for not having a massive crash.
Yeah, in some other leagues and some other league races, you'd see Chargers and Just Jose. They would drive straight through God Any Weep because of the ghosting. And as a driver, your first instinct is to avoid the crash, not go through it. And that's why I hate the ghosting. It's a whole other element here, you know, when these drive, you know, we're in a competitive league setting, right? So I like the ghosting off because it's more natural. You know, some tracks we put it on because we don't want the whole field, like the street circuits. We usually run that on. You know, Baku, you don't want the whole field crashing out. But
what are your thoughts on the new esports pit release system that's been added to the game?
You know, I heard about that because you wrote up some quick hand notes in the Discord earlier. That's kind of cool. I think I don't really fully understand. I think it's just equal pit stops and equal releasing. Is that correct?
Yep. So basically, you won't get held in the pits if there are still cars coming through the pit lane. So yeah, just make sure everyone, you know, has exactly equal pit stops, and you know, it doesn't come down to luck for your take your odds positioning.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's an option. I think that we can use. Is that right? Or
yeah,
is
I'm
it
pretty
enabled?
sure you can use it in online lobbies.
Okay.
I have no idea where you would find that.
Yeah, they made it so confusing this year. I don't like the box style method of the menus. I think it's more confusing. I liked how it was prior to 2021, but I think we're all getting used to it. Oh, we got Any Weep! Oh! Yeah. He did touch the barrier, but just a little bit.
Yeah, I think those sweats are done for.
It's almost ready for the dry soon. If it keeps on this this path. No, come on, guys.
And he still stays out.
No, you had a 29-second gap to Jones. Yeah, that's a mistake. Because he should have pit right then. Because you're not going to gain any on double. And if anything, you're just going to lose the pit stop to Jones. Yeah. That was 29 seconds, now it's 20 seconds. Yeah, he should have pit that lap time. But back on the pit release, you know, I don't really know what to think about it. I mean, I think it's cool, I guess. Keep things equal. I always thought that was just a part of racing, about timing when you when you pit, especially when safety cars happen and everyone's coming into the pit lane. It kind of gets quite hectic. And I think that adds to it. You know, that's how it is in real F1. You know, they don't not take that out in, you know, when they race. Like, oh, hold up. You know, they do have to hold up. So I think that's a part of it. I think it's part of the sport. But, you know, I'm just thinking about now, you know, some other sims or other racing games, that's not actually a feature. There's like ghosting in the pit lane. So as soon as the tires are done, you just go. So I could see both sides of it. I guess if it's an option, that's another one we will have to decide on what to use. As that God Any he actually overtook W, so maybe he thinks he can hold on to 8th. So maybe he's proven me wrong.
Looks like Dreamsy might be making a move on Fire Flow as well. I mean, the wet runners are just dropping like stones at this point. I mean, Fire Flow is now 10 seconds behind Vegan.
You know, I've been in this position many times. I've thrown away, man, how many races in the wet with my strategies. But at this point, whoever's still on the wets, that's stubbornness. That is legit stubbornness. They thought it was not going to clear up. They were going to go on the wet tires. They're like, nah, I'm not going to pit at all this race. Or, you know, if anything, I'm just staying on the wets. At this point, it's not the preferred tire. But they're still sticking out there. Why? Because they're committed. There's like, why do I have to pit, waste all the time? As Fire Up got overtaken by Dreamsy. Nice move indeed.
Yeah,
But yeah, that might come down to stubbornness, because there's been a lot of times where I thought, you know what, I think I could get to the end on these tires, and then you stay out and you stay out, and then you lose so much time that you're like, you know what, you just have to stick to one strategy, because now you can't put your foot in the door and the other one out. Like, you got to go with one, otherwise it's not going to work. So the Ferraris decided to stay on the wets, and they're committing through it. So I applaud them on that front.
Yeah, I think the thing with this situation is that once the safety car came in, they pretty much had to commit to the wets, because if they pit for inters, then they're just giving up, all the positions, and they're, it's highly unlikely they close those positions back or gain those positions back without a safety car to help them out. So I think it's better to try and hold them back for as long as you can, rather than just remove any chances of being able to get a decent result by hitting when everyone else is already on the right tire.
We started the final lap of the Grand Prix. Bats Plus did that 15 seconds ago. And we have Latope and Jose for second. Jose started 14th after the back of the grid penalty, and with the safety car, which really helped him out, he is now up to third, only a half a second behind the Haas driver. But if he stays like this, he'll be right on the podium. And that'll be a good damage limitation day, if he can somehow finish second or third in this race.
Definitely. Since the safety car came out, he's been on a charge. I think he went from, like P10? I could be wrong, but he's gained a lot of positions since the safety car restarted. So it's been a really impressive drive, despite all the wing changes earlier on.
Around the final corner for the final time, the Williams driver of Bats Plus will claim his second win in Season 12 and continue his lead in the championship standings. He takes the Hungarian Grand Prix here in Golden Class, and a very dominant performance and great strategy in that. Latope's going to hold on to second. Solid race from him. And Jose from 14th to 3rd. And that's a successful day. Chargers unable to get the podium that he would have needed to get 5 in a row. He's just shy in 4th. Be good. He's back to where he always is. Top 5 driver in that. Oh, 20. What?
How?
Apparently the stewards don't like Chargers. Chargers got 20 seconds. Somehow he had some yellow flag issue as soon as he crossed the line. I don't know about that. So I think that... I don't know about that.
Jones was catching massively on W in the last lap. I think the gap went from 3 or 4 seconds down to less than a second in just one lap. But it looks like W had just done just enough to hold on.
I sense a steward submission on Chargers, and I think Giggle as well. I think Giggle got a 22nd, but I think he might have been outside the points. Nonetheless, I'm a fan of dominance. I'm a fan of big victories. I like that. And I'm happy Bats Plus was able to do that today. He didn't put a foot wrong at all, and he claimed the win and the fastest lap. So, did he get the pole? Yes, he did. I think it's a grand slam. He got all 3 today, which is always, great satisfaction when you can do and get all 3. So I'm sure he'll be pleased in that. But that is your those are your results here today. Unofficial results. We'll see what the stewards say about some penalties that Chargers had received in Giggle. TJ retired quite early in this race. Captain in Halberg, a few issues, but nonetheless they did quite well. Giggle, right outside the points, he struggled also today, but the top 10 did pretty well. They were all contending at some point or another, and that's how it ended up. Safety car did pretty well at the end with the mixed strategy of inters to wet. That spiced things up a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. But just to quickly touch on your domination point, as a spectator, I don't really know if I enjoy watching domination. I think the past few years in real life F1 have been pretty boring with Lewis just sweeping to a title without any challenge. But now that he actually has some proper competition in the form of Max Verstappen, it's been the best F1 has been in years. So yeah, I'm not really sure about that one, but when you're the driver and you're the one dominating, then of course everything is amazing.
Oh,
yeah, it's not very entertaining to watch.
yeah, maybe it's not the most exciting. If you could, Taz, if you can maybe invite the top 3, that'd be good. If you're not friends with them, just use their users through the stream. Should be able to get them. Yeah, I'm kind of as a fan, you want excitement, right? But I like when sports are very much what's the word? I guess they're reliable in the sense that their championships and wins mean something, and not that it becomes, like for example, like a Formula E seems more. I don't like to use this word. Maybe use a different word. It seems gimmicky to me.
Yep, I would agree with you on that.
And to some extent, I don't really get a sense of, well, how are you going to say this guy's the best when it's like kind of a crapshoot, for a lack of better words. Formula 1 could be the same thing with the performance of the car, but I, as a viewer, might want a more entertaining race and more entertaining sport. But whenever someone dominates with victories or championships, I can definitely respect it. And I'm not a Lewis Hamilton fan, but I can totally respect what he's been able to do. He's not my favorite driver at all. Actually don't like when he wins, but man, I can respect when he does. And I think that's what a lot of fans really do need to get a hold of, is that respect. I think a lot of people lack that, but that's just kind of my point of views in sports, is respecting your competitors. And whenever you do see a dominant factor, I can tip my hat and say good show.
Yeah, definitely. I think it is, it is nice to see drivers performing, or in any sport, it is nice to see athletes performing at the top of their game, and in some cases dominating. But I mean, it gets to a certain point where it's like, okay, we want to see another guy, get their chance to have their time in the limelight.
Although there's nothing stopping me from saying, you know what? Let's see Lewis Hamilton go out and win another 5 in a row. With a real challenge, though. Man, that would be like, what are we watching? You know what I mean? But
right.
Maybe that's just me and my my opinions. But yeah, I could definitely respect it.
41-year-old Lewis Hamilton with 12 titles to his name.
He'll be 55, still fending off. Oh, it's my 400th and 50th win, 700th pole. I'm still kicking. He's got the IVs in as he's racing. Give him some liquid. I can see it. Well, anyway, I think we got the top 3, and we're going to start the post-race interviews. But for anyone who is sticking around, thank you. And if you are heading out, please return back here tomorrow, same place, same time for the Platinum class, and next week for Singapore. But we'll start with P3, which will be Just Jose in the Alpine. Start at 14th out to the back of the grid. Talk us through your race. It was kind of maybe uneventful in the first half, maybe a few spins and damage, but when that safety car really brought you back into it, a little bit of a damage limitation, would you say?
Yeah, for sure. It was damage limitation. After the first 5 laps, it was nightmare, to be honest. I did really bad on lap 1, even though I had a massive start. I made like 6 positions out of the line, but on turn 1, I made a mistake. I hit someone and lost front wing. Had to pit. Then 4 laps later, just me on my own. Had oversteer coming into the chicane. And hit the wall, had to pit again. I think at one point I was 43 seconds behind the guy ahead, and before the safety car I managed to make it, I think 16, which is, I don't know, it was how do you say this? Satisfactory, seeing the gap go down, and when the safety car came out, it was like I don't know, it was the thing I needed. Made me finally get some overtakes, which were amazing, to be honest. I think I did one around the outside on the chicane on Chargers, I believe. I'm not sure. And then chasing Latope, it was pretty hard. I wanna say props to him for not losing it under pressure. I managed to get within 1 second of him, but then I couldn't make the move. I don't know if my tires were dead or he was just better with the dirty air. But yeah, shout out to him.
And we also saw a pretty big spin on the straightaway. I think you might have gotten a scare. How was it approaching? Got any weave? The Ferrari half spun on the front straightaway.
Oh yeah, that was scary. Even before that, before his spun, because I saw 3 cars ahead of me. I was so close to Chargers. I think I was like, I don't know if it was Chargers, to be honest. I think it was Be Good. I was like 2 tenths behind him, coming into the last corner, and I saw he got like a mediocre exit out of the last corner, which I took and positioned to his right, and then I saw that got any weave spinning. Fortunately, it was far enough ahead that we could all take avoiding action and go to the right of him. I left enough space. We were going too wide with Be Good. Maybe I should have yielded, I don't know, but I left enough space that the both of us could go through without no damage. We went side to side the whole straight, and since I needed to outbrake him into turn 1, I broke as late as I could without trying to, turn it into a dive bomb into the other Ferrari, which I think I didn't, but he either lost his braking point or thought I was going to dive bomb because he left me the space. And it was a little bit opportunistic at that time, but I took the space on the inside and just stole 3 positions in 1.5 corners, to be honest with you.
Oh, great. Taz, do you have any questions for Just Jose?
No, I think he pretty much answered everything with a really good insight with the play-by-play on what happened since the safety car restart. So really cool to hear his perspective of what happened with that whole crazy spin with the Gani Weave. So yeah.
Awesome. Well, congratulations on the P3 and damage limitation day and that. I guess good luck in the remaining races. You're still up there in the championship fight. Go give Bats a nice challenge to end this thing. I think it'll go all the way down to the end. I'm hoping so. Good luck into the rest of the way.
Yeah, that's the plan. Thank you.
All right, so we'll go to second place in. Let me change this on. I always forget to change it on the screen. We'll go to the Haas.
Yeah.
In Latope, congratulations on P2.
Yeah, thank you.
Let's see, is this, let's see.
My first P2 is second podium of the season.
Let me see. Yep, you had a third place at Monaco.
Yeah.
And then second place here. Is this your best finish ever in TCR?
I think in TCR I did the season 9, But I think I don't remember if I win a race in season 9, but I know I made a few podiums in season 9.
Oh yeah,
So,
it was a long time ago, so my memory doesn't go that back that far.
yeah, me neither. Even though I made a race.
But anyway, let's say it was a good result in that. I was rooting for you. You had some good pace. I don't know how was it on deciding on the tires and the safety car and the last few laps. I think you had to make a few positions up to get to where you are now.
Yeah, well, first congrats to Jose and Bats. Yeah, Jose, you put great pressure on me by closing almost a 6-second lap on me in the final laps. But yeah, I just tried to hold on and not make any mistakes to finish in P2. But in the first laps, I made a few mistakes just trying to know where the group was, because it was the first time I drive in the wet conditions on this circuit, on this track. So it was pretty hard for me to hold on. But after this, when I found where the group was, I just tried to catch up, and the safety car helped me a lot for the tire strategy. And yeah, it was a pretty good race for me.
Awesome. And Taz, you had any questions for Latour?
No, not really. It was just a really solid drive. Made all the right calls and didn't make any mistakes. So yeah, good job, man. Congrats on P2.
Well, I do made a few mistakes, but it's okay.
Well, yeah, but I mean, a lot of people made mistakes. So, and for the most part, you kept it on the track. So,
yeah,
good stuff.
Oh, how about this? Let me today actually, prior to the race starting, I announced a little bit more information on the All-Star race during the stream, and you're right on the bubble of the top 5. And I don't remember, did you do the All-Star race last season?
Nope.
No. So I don't know if you weren't around, or maybe you didn't make the top 5, but you're 6th coming into this race. I think the second's going to boost you into the top 5. And the top 5 drivers in the week prior to the All-Star race will get in. So as long as you stay top 5, you'll qualify for the All-Star race at Portimao.
I'll do my best.
Yeah. So any extra pressure on that? Trying to stick in the top 5. How do you feel for Singapore and some other tracks coming up?
Singapore, it's quite a hard track to just stay, not hit the wall, but yeah, pretty confident about the next race.
Awesome. We'll keep up the good work, and hopefully we'll get you into that All-Star race later in the month.
Thank you.
And we will go to our P1 finisher. It was a grand slam tonight. He had the pole position, the fastest lap, and a dominant win. And you picked the tires right at the right point. I don't know if you put a foot wrong today. Am I wrong?
No, I didn't. I didn't make any mistakes. Didn't have any half spins or anything. The safety car made it a little bit sketchy, but I was kind of hoping that there wasn't going to be one. But other than that, I mean, I just drove around by myself for the most part.
And about the weather, how was it? You knew it was going to lighten up? Did you have a feeling to put the inters on? Did you think it was going to go wrong? When the safety car came in, it would have still been full wet?
Well, I mean, it wasn't ideal because I was the first car and it wasn't ready for intermediates yet, so I could tell the track was getting quicker, and we were getting pretty close to the qualifying times for inters. So it was like 3 seconds off, and the weather forecast had like a light rain thing at the end on the last square, so I knew that it was going to lighten up at some point. And it didn't seem bad enough to where even if it wasn't ready, then the inters would still be okay, and it would be worth going on to them to not have to make another pit stop.
Yeah, well, you timed it perfectly on that. I mean, it was really nice to see. We were seeing you drive away from the field, very controlled, and I wanted to. Well, I'll ask Taz if you did add any questions. If not, I'm not going to let you off the hook too easy.
Yeah, I did have one question.
Okay.
Throughout the race, I did see you taking some very interesting lines on the exit of corners. It looked like you were immediately moving to the inside on the straights.
Yeah.
Just would like to know, what was the whole point of that?
Well, I was frying the left front tire for probably the first quarter of the race, and it was turning orange basically. So I had to turn the brake bias way down. I think I turned it down like 4 or 5% since the start, and it still was overheating. So I was just getting in the wet part of the track. And the same thing started to happen on the intermediates at some point. So I just tried to, get on the wet parts as quick as I could on the straights. And I think some of the corners it was actually faster because it let me straighten out quicker and get on the throttle without having the wheel turn. So I think that helped a lot.
And you think it actually helped with tire temperatures and all that?
It seemed like it. It seemed like if I didn't, like on the backstretch, the short backstretch, the wets were going up to like 81 degrees, which was orange, and when I got to the wet part, the surface temperature just plummeted. It went down to like 60, and the tire got, it lost like 4 degrees or 5 degrees of the carcass. So I think it did. But even if it didn't, I mean, it was worth trying because I was absolutely destroying it, and I couldn't turn in a lot of the corners when it got too hot.
Interesting. I might have to try that out tomorrow if it's a wet race.
Yeah.
But yeah, congrats on P1 and amazing drive.
Thanks.
So I think that's going to set up, that's going to do it here for today, but that's going to set up a really nice, interesting Platinum class race tomorrow. And here are all the reasons why you should attend. Bats Plus said on the commentary stream last night that he thinks Tasmanian Devil is washed up and that he is going to take Taz out in the race. And Tasmanian is responded today on stream and says that he's going to leave the talking on the track and deny Passassin his 6 victories in a row, which would tie the record here in TCR. Passassin won the last 5 races, and 6 would tie it. So Taz is going to try to deny him, as is the rest of the Platinum class grid. And we also have Blinn Machine returning into the commentary booth as usual, and who would not love to sit through a nice commentary tomorrow with Blinn Machine, with all this action set to take place same time, same place tomorrow. Thank you all for watching on either platforms. We really do appreciate all the support. Keep it coming, and tune here tomorrow for the race and next week for Singapore. Pretty much that's all it, as my PlayStation's starting to blow up. I think I've hit my time limit here. Thank you all for the post-race interviews, and Tasmanian Devil for returning. We'll see him tomorrow night. And other than that, that's Taz. My name's Sue Freeze, and that's going to